Hey everyone, this is Lucy. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's nail tutorial is going to be a little bit different. Instead of just doing a straightforward, this is how you apply Dashing Diva gloss, we're going to apply Dashing Diva gloss together and talk about that, but also talk about what has happened with Diva Life, the Dashing Diva MLM program that they tried to launch earlier in the year. If you just want a non-chatty tutorial, just straightforward, this is what you do with gloss, I will put a link to that video in the description below, or you can just go to my nails playlist and find it there. It's one of my most popular videos. Today we're going to do that and talk about the Diva Life. Before we start on that, this is what I'm going to be applying today. This is the Dashing Diva Gloss. This is the real gel strips, but they do not need to be cured. You do not need a lamp to do this. As a reminder, Dashing Diva makes other products as well. For example, their Dashing Diva Magic Press. These are the peel and stick press-on nails. They also make some glue-on ones that I have not tried. And then they have this Dashing Diva Glaze, which is a semi-cured strip. So you do need a lamp for this one. You put this on and then stick them under a special lamp and they harden. We're not going to be talking about these two today. I do have tutorials for these that you can check out. I do have also a nail ranking video where I talk about different strips and which ones I prefer and which ones work best. But we're going to do this one today, the Dashing Diva Gloss. This is what you get. You have some of their newer, well, it's not really new anymore, but it's new since the last time I made a gloss video. A new, bigger size. There are some accent nails here, and then sort of your main nails here, and then there's an extra behind here. You also get instructions, but I'm going to show you a slightly different, maybe better way. A little nail file that's actually pretty decent for a nail file that comes included with the kit. It's longer and lasts better than most of the other nail files I've had with other strips. And then one prep pad, but you can also just use any rubbing alcohol pad. That's what I usually do because I can typically get more than one application from a set and they only provide one prep pad. Any nail strips prep is the most important step, potentially even more important than the actual application, or at least that's the key to success. I like starting with a metal cuticle pusher. I already pushed my cuticles before I started filming just to save some time, but you just go gently and push back the cuticles. Even if you don't see any cuticle, I still recommend gently pushing back a little bit because sometimes there's a little bit of skin that is there and you can't necessarily see it. And if there's any skin on the nail bed and you put a sticker over it, it's going to lift. It will not last as well as it can. My next step is to wipe off any oil or any debris or anything else with the alcohol prepping pad, or you can use the one they included. Sometimes the included pads are a little bit on the dry side. I honestly just prefer the alcohol ones. I'm not trimming my nails ahead of time, and that's intentional. First of all, my nails right now are really short as it is, but even if they were slightly longer than I want them to be, I trim after I apply strips. And I'm going to figure out what size of the strip is right for my nail. Slightly too small is better than slightly too big. You don't want the strips overlapping the skin, because if they do, you're going to get moisture and anything else under there, and they're not going to last as well. I line it up as close to the cuticle as possible without actually going over. And I know some people trim their cuticles, but I do not. I tend to cut myself and then it just becomes this whole mess. Pushing them back works just fine for me. Some people like cuticle removers, gels, or brush-on products. I don't have any experience with those. If that's something that you enjoy and that's working for you, great. Then I take one of these little, it's a rubber tipped, it's not very soft, but it's a rubber tipped cuticle pusher. And I go around the edge of the sticker and really press it down to make sure that there are no bubbles. I find that this very inexpensive tool, they're like a dime a dozen on Amazon. I'll put links for all the extras I'm using in the description box. But this really makes a difference in how well the stickers last. And I think that's just because it helps push out any bubbles and kind of helps make sure that the entire sticker is really adhering to the nail all over. Much better than just my finger pad can if I'm simply pressing it down. You can try it both ways, see which way you like better, but to me, this is great. And these stickers, because they're fully cured, you can push harder on these than on the glazed ones, the semi-cured ones, without denting them because they are already cured. In case you missed my first video about this whole Dashing Diva life fiasco, let me catch you up. So what happened was Dashing Diva at the end of 2022, or toward the end of 2022, announced that they were going to launch this MLM branch to their company called Diva Life. And they hired this guy, Scott Halversen. I may be pronouncing his last name wrong. I'm sorry, Scott, if that is the case. We'll talk a little bit more about him later, but he has a history of working with different MLM companies like Rodan and Fields and Mary Kay and the Langeberger, the Baskets, probably also not pronouncing it correctly, but he has a long history of working with different MLMs. So Dashing Diva hires him, and he does this opportunity Zoom call that was pre-recorded, or it was recorded live and then I watched the replay of it, where he basically tries to get people super excited about this opportunity. And he multiple times says how there will be no sales minimums and no fees. But then he says, well, maybe there will be minimums, but they will be super easy to meet and you won't have any problems. And this whole thing just comes off sort of shady. I pulled up the terms and conditions for the Diva Life and read through them and found that yes, you do in fact have sales minimums. And then some people online were talking about how there are also fees. There's a technology fee of $5 a month that Diva Life people would have to pay. And then there's some sort of annual fee that is waived for the first year, but nobody really knew what that annual fee was, and it wasn't disclosed anywhere. I still have not been able to find it. Maybe I didn't read the terms and conditions closely enough, but it was not immediately easy to find. And Dashing Diva released this Q&A post on their Instagram talking about the Diva Life, and it seems like they did it in response to the backlash that they received from the community. They basically talked about it. Is it an MLM? And they answered some questions, but based on the answers, it was very, very clear that yes, Diva Life is an MLM. And that post caused even more outrage from the Diva Life customers, or from the Dashing Diva customers, I'm sorry, the ones that are not for MLM. A lot of people in the comments were saying how, well, I cannot support Dashing Diva if it becomes an MLM. And even though Dashing Diva was going to still maintain their dashingdiva.com website and still be sold in places like Walmart and Target, people still did not want to support a company that was going to have anything to do with MLMs at all. Dashing Diva removed that post fairly quickly. After just a few hours, at least based on what I noticed that post, I took some screenshots. I put all of those in my first video where I talk about Diva Life, but some people said that it was up for a few days, maybe. Anyway, they removed it, and that removal of the post is what prompted me to look into it and make my first video. Shortly after that, Dashing Diva released this post that said, "We've heard you, we love you. Because of your passion, our leadership is strongly considering your feedback." When I personally saw that post, I thought that was just damage control. I did not think Dashing Diva would stop the Diva Life program because it was already happening. They already started it. People already signed up. I looked through on Facebook a little bit and found that some Diva Life people that joined have started their own pages already. They were already promoting these Diva Life designs. They were sold at a higher price than the dashingdiva.com ones, but the whole point of it was, Scott was saying in that call that I watched, that I sat through the whole hour, that I will never get back, he was saying how in the spring of this year, 2023, new designs would be rolled out that are only available through the Diva Life, so that people who wanted those designs would have no choice but to buy them from the MLM side of the company and not from the dashingdiva.com. Let's circle back to Scott, who actually changed his name on Facebook to Scotty Halvo, and all of his social media profiles in recent days have gone silent and gone offline, and I'm guessing he's just getting a lot of backlash and he's basically hiding because his profile used to say Scott Halversen, but it doesn't anymore. So there's a group on Facebook called Dashing Divas that I'm in, and it's just a group of people talking about Dashing Diva nails. People share their manicure selfies or nail fees and talk about different tips and tricks and all kinds of things. It's not a sales group and it's not a Diva Life group. It's just a Dashing Diva group that's been around for a while. I found this post from November where somebody says, "What do you ladies think of the whole Diva Life mess DD is trying to roll out? Any of you planning to participate?" And here comes Scott saying, "Hi divas, this is a great community and super helpful to each other. Seeing as I'm responsible for the upcoming mess, I would invite you to check it out, listen to what we are providing, and then choose as you wish. Please be assured that Dashing Diva as you know it will remain the same. Hope to see you on the live stream tomorrow night." Some people, of course, are talking about their bad experiences with MLMs and how not awesome it is that Dashing Diva is considering it. And I want you to really pay attention to this comment and think about it as I show you some of the next things. So Scott says, "I'm sorry you may have had a bad experience in the past. I can't change that and I absolutely feel you. I can only tell you that I will work hard to provide an environment where women supporting women creates positivity and good for communities." Okay, I just want you to think about this, that he's talking about an environment of women supporting women. The timeline so far. Dashing Diva announces Diva Life first by email to some people. Then they must have had some backlash, so they make this Q&A post and get even more backlash. They take down the Q&A post and instead post something that says, "We love you, we're listening." Okay? After that post, Scott sends out an email to the Diva Life consultants and whoever was signed up for the Diva Life email updates. So it might have been just the Diva Life consultants, but I think it was actually a larger mailing list of just anybody who expressed interest in the Diva Life program and signed up for the updates about the program. So I think it may have caught some consultants and some potential consultants. By the way, I'm done with the first hand. You have two options here, well, three options now. You can clip the excess, you can file off the excess, and if you want to do the filing, take the nail file, go like this, kind of vertical, and then file like that until the sticker starts to come off. You can see it's already coming off. I don't like either of those options. I don't like clipping or filing. I like scissors. I take manicure scissors and I cut off a little bit of the nail with the sticker to make sure that the sticker and the nail are completely flush with each other. And this is the big reason why I do not trim my nails, even if they're a little bit too long for my liking, before doing this application. Because I want to have a little bit of nail there to cut off with the sticker. But if you don't have that, if your nails are super, super short, or if you're just not a nail scissor person, you want clippers, those are completely okay. Also, you can do the clippers and then take a nail file and just a little bit clean it up. I encourage you to only file in one direction, not back and forth. You don't want to fray your nail or the sticker, and just file in one direction like this until it's completely smooth. It's just your choice, whatever works better for you. I grew up using manicure scissors, so that's what I do. This guy is giving me a little bit of a trouble here, and I just keep having buckling on the side here. I even took my manicure scissors and sliced off the edge here to make the nail sticker a little bit more narrow, and I think that helped. And then I just pulled and stretched it up to get those buckles out. I don't know. We'll see how this lasts. Usually these are the most long-lasting nails for me, the gloss. After that post of "We love you, we heard you" from Dashing Diva, which is still up as far as I know, Scott sent this email to the Diva Life mailing list, which, as I said, I think includes potential consultants as well. I will put screenshots of this email off to the side in this video. Thank you to the people who sent this to me, and thank you to people who put it on Reddit, because I did not get this email myself. It says, "Quick update, grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the read." Then there's a picture of a horse from an album cover of Killer's Dying Breed. It says, "The above picture is one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite bands. The song is Dying Breed and the opening lyric starts, "There's gonna be opposition, ain't no way around it." Just a quick comment for you to let you know we are aware of what's going on. I know it's not fun for anyone to have to read and absorb a lot of the negativity on Instagram or Facebook. I have some thoughts and also observations of this. Note the grammatical errors. I would hope that somebody who is trying to represent a company would proofread their email, but not so much, not in this case. I'm assuming here that Scott is referring to the post, the Q&A post that Dashing Diva put up that I also commented on, that Dashing Diva later took down, and it had a lot of backlash. It says, "It's easy to be negative. It takes a high level of emotional intelligence to be positive, respectful, and understanding, which a lot of people don't develop in life. When there is no accountability on social media, it's easy to make a comment that is defamatory, inaccurate, or just plain false. 2. Most people who are negative towards this business model are the types who don't want others to succeed. Usually they're not willing to put in the effort or time, so they want others to be miserable like themselves." Dear Scott, oh my goodness, I am pretty sure that people who are against a business model with over 98% failure rate, and by failure rate I mean over 98% of people in MLMs do not make any money or lose money. I think people who are against this business model are not against it because they don't want others to succeed. I would argue the opposite. We are against it because we do want others to succeed and not just fall prey to this business model that is just not set up for anybody except for the very top to make money. Most people don't take the time to be curious and find out information for themselves. They just rely on someone else's opinion since it sounds good or plausible. Be curious, not judgmental, as Walt Whitman said. Well, dear Scott, I personally was very curious and thus sat through the opportunity call and read through the terms and conditions and was able to pinpoint the blatant lies presented about there being no fees and there being no sales minimums and all of these other things. So yes, I took the time to find out the information for myself. Pardon me as I take this slightly personally because I was one of the people who commented on that post and I was not disrespectful or defamatory. I had a phone call set with a blogger today who published a negative piece online and I wanted to have a productive conversation. As predictable as sunrise, the person canceled at the last minute and did not want to reschedule. This happens every time I extend an invitation to talk and learn more about what we are doing. They can never defend their position past a couple of sentences. The blogger he's referring to spoke up on Reddit. She is a CPA and very well educated. The piece she wrote, I've read, it was not negative. It was honest and truthful. And when she asked Scott, per her own words, to provide some basically updated information and point out where exactly her posts were wrong or her post was wrong, he wouldn't. And that's why she canceled the call, because she didn't see the point in engaging in it. This next part is absolutely a gem. I spent the majority of the weekend looking at every comment on IG and each account, and I would say in a general way that 40% are intentional comments from competitors who are threatened by our product and chosen path of marketing. I've read a lot of those comments, not every comment. I did not spend the whole weekend reading every comment. I didn't see any comments from competitors. I did have a competitor reach out to me based on my comment and send me some nails to try, but they weren't commenting on the post themselves. 30% more are bots designed to follow and trend those comments. Pretty nefarious stuff, but it's the reality of social media. 20% are social influencers who are threatened by our business model because they knew their currency to convert followers into sales is not nearly as good as your ability. Let's unpack this one. So I think I would probably fall into this category, right, of being a social influencer. I really don't like that term. I wouldn't say I'm threatened by the MLM business model. Dashing Diva has an existing affiliate program, and I'm a part of that, and I've been a part of that for a very long time, for a few years. It is very, very straightforward. I tell you about the nails, I share my link, you use my link if you decide to use my link, and I make 10% of your sale. I don't have to, nor can I, recruit anybody else. I do not have to refer any certain number of sales. I cannot refer anything, or I can refer 2 things a month. It doesn't really matter. It works just like any affiliate program does. Amazon, eBay, YesStyle, any of them. It's an affiliate program. It's not a multi-level marketing program. Am I threatened by the MLM branch of this? No, not really. MLMs in general don't have a really good reputation anymore, and I feel like it's harder and harder and harder to sell if you're an MLM person because people are just more educated and more aware now. And also with specifically Dashing Diva, who wants to buy an overpriced MLM Dashing Diva nail product from a consultant who is potentially pushy and trying to recruit them versus just going to dashingdiva.com or TJ Maxx or Walmart or Target and just picking up a set with no pressure to join? The remaining 10% are either just plain ignorant or unhappy in life and they just can't be helped. Scott, what happened to a business where women support women? What is this crap? Most commenters, as far as I could see, are women. Can men use Dashing Diva? Of course. But I think the majority of their customer base are female or femme identifying. So for him to just come out and say 40% are competitors and 30% are bots and 20% are influencers who are jealous and 10% are just ignorant and unhappy. I mean, come on, seriously. He ends by saying, here's the good part. The reaction online to our business model has actually created some positive discussions with the team here, and opportunities which were once closed, set aside, or not thought of have now been put on the table. We're working through all the details and will provide an update soon. I'm excited about the possibilities for you. Until then, Diva on. Scott Halversen. I finished my other hand off camera because, to be honest, it's incredibly difficult to do nails with a camera in the way. It's not directly between me and my hands, but it's still in the way, and to even try to make sure that everything stays in focus, which I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure some of my nail application was coming in and out of focus a little bit, sorry about that, but it's difficult. Anyway, I finished my other hand exactly like I showed you. I prepped the nails, pushed back the cuticles, degreased them, and then put the stickers on, pushed them down with a rubber cuticle pusher, then cut off the excess and filed the edges to make them very, very smooth. You can technically stop right here. This is it. If that's all you want to do, your manicure with the Dashing Diva gloss is done. However, for years and years that I've done nail stickers, and I've done them for, gosh, close to 8 years now, different brands. This one is my favorite. I always do a gel top coat and then cure it under a light because that only adds a couple of minutes to the application process, but it adds days and days of perfect wear to the manicure. And let me explain the perfect wear thing. So while this might last you 2 weeks, just how it is, you will probably see at least a little bit of imperfections as the nails wear. You might see a little bit lifting, a little bit of snagging, or with designs, especially like this one where you have clear sides, if you made any mistakes in applying it and anything starts to lift, if even a little bit, especially at the edges here, you will probably get some fuzz and lint and dust and all kinds of stuff there, and you'll be able to see it very clearly. You would not be able to see that on a red nail or a nail that's all solid color or design, whatever, anything that's not clear. But with a clear one, you'll be able to see it. So I want to protect against that. And honestly, adding a couple of minutes to the application to ensure that these look absolutely perfect for 2 weeks until my nails physically grow too long and I have to take them off, it's worth the time to me. I always use UV protective gloves, and I've had people make fun of me in the videos that, why do you do that? A couple minutes won't hurt, etc., etc. And I'm sure a lot of you nail enthusiasts have seen the research that came out. I wouldn't panic about that. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor. Please don't take what I'm saying as medical advice, but basically, some scientists tested in vitro, so in a little dish with cells not attached to an actual organism, human cells and mouse cells under UV, specifically under a nail lamp for 20 minutes, and they saw some changes that were unfavorable. Does that mean that these will give you cancer? I don't know. It doesn't sound like it. However, even if cancer was not a concern at all, I still don't want premature aging from UV light on my hands, and that's why I've had these gloves for years, or you can, I suppose, use a sunscreen if you prefer, but I don't want to put lotions or anything on my hands while I'm doing my nails because that would affect the longevity of the nails, so I use the gloves. I prefer a full-size lamp like this one. This one is from my MLM days, actually, and if you want to see my MLM experiences, check out my anti-MLM playlist. It's in there. I used to sell nails in an MLM, never again. But I have this full-size lamp. I prefer the full-size ones to the little cheapy ones you can get for free when you order nail stickers. If that's what you're starting with, though, the little cheapy one that you get for free, that's fine. It's fine as a proof of concept to see if you even like it. And then I used this glaze top gel from the press-on company. Gelsy sent it to me, but Gelsy was a little weird. They they sent me some nails, and then they offered to send me some more nails, and I didn't ask for anything. They offered. I told them sure, fine, and then they ghosted me for like 6 months, and they won't reply to anything. But they see my messages. I've asked them just because the first time when they offered to send them and nothing came, I thought, oh, it got lost in the mail, and I didn't want them to think that I was rude. I didn't want them to think that I received their package and just didn't say anything. So I let them know. They saw it, never responded, and then I reached out like I think 1 or 2 more times over 6 months, just saying like, hey, just so you know, nothing came, but okay. And they never ever responded. It was weird. Anyway, so what I'm doing is I am capping the free edge of the nail first, and that is to basically secure that area where the nail sticker and the nail come in contact here at the edge. I want to make sure that I have no lifting and no snagging. I'm not exactly gentle on my hands. I do my best not to use my nails as tools. If I'm opening a can of soda or beer, I will use maybe like a butter knife to open that can and not my nail. If I'm peeling a sticker off of something, same thing. I'll try to use a tool of some sort and not my nail. But I'm still not necessarily easy on my hands. I deal with car seat buckles all the time. I do some minor repairs around the house. I recently replaced some valves inside of my toilet. I have replaced the heating element in my oven myself. I've taken apart my dryer on multiple occasions and fixed that, replaced the rear bearings in it. I've done a lot of different things, installed my own thermostat. I used to change my own oil. I don't anymore, but I used to, and I know how. I've replaced some electrical things. Basically, oh, and I've replaced my own garbage disposal. On all of those occasions, I've had some sort of nail sticker on because most of the time I have something on my nails. So I want to make sure that I cap the free edge, and then I do the rest of the nail with the gel, taking care not to go over the skin. Just like with a sticker, if the gel goes over the skin, most likely you'll have lifting there, and then the gel can crack. If you do the full nail first and then cap the edge at the end, you will have a little bulge there by the tip, a little bulge of gel, and I don't want that. So always cap first. I did not invent this. I saw this in a nail video years ago when I was doing shellac at home on myself, not as a service. And that kind of stuck with me because right there, it's hard to see because the nail is clear, but right there is obviously a thicker part because we just capped the edge. And now as I take my brush and do the rest of the nail, that little bulge will smooth out. Totally optional step. I did get some mild hate in a couple of my nail videos saying, this isn't even a true review because you're doing all of these extra unnecessary steps. Well, this isn't a review necessarily. This is a tutorial on how to make these last as long as they can. If you don't want to do these steps, don't. That's fine. You don't have to. And for some people, maybe who are not as hard on their hands, or maybe who, don't lead the sort of life that I do, maybe for them, not doing this optional step is fine, and the nails still last 2 weeks. That's fine. But for me, this really prolongs the life. After that, I stick them under a light for 60 seconds. So let's talk about the email. I thought it was so disrespectful. It didn't trigger me personally. Like, I'm not personally offended by it. I saw it more as proof of the kind of person Scott is, at least the kind of public person he is. It really didn't surprise me that that's how he handled it, but a lot of people were outraged. But it's okay, because a few days later, something absolutely magical happened. Dashing Diva put out another post saying, "We value you, our loyal Dashing Diva customers who shop both in retail stores and with DashingDiva.com. Thank you all for your sincere feedback. After extensive consideration, we will be dissolving the Diva Life and will be moving away from adding a direct sales MLM model to the brand. We will continue to focus on innovation and developing your favorite Dashing Diva products and encourage our communities on social media platforms to continue sharing your thoughts and feedback with us. We respect your opinion and hope you will continue our brand journey with us. Look at the difference the gel made. I'll show you the non-gel hand here and the gel hand here. Can you see how just so much better this one is? First of all, it is thicker now. Obviously, because gel has a certain thickness to it, right? And there are certain products like builder gels that are meant to thicken your nails. Not permanently thicken, but just create an effect of a thicker nail. This isn't it. This is just a regular top coat. But it still makes everything glossy, and then the edges here feel like one cohesive unit. There's no clear separation like on this nail where it's, okay, here's the sticker, here's the nail. I love this, and to me this is totally worth the couple extra minutes. After Dashing Diva made that announcement that the Diva Life was dissolving, people were really happy. The comments were really positive. I did see some that were more critical, but it was not a lot. I don't claim to be Scott, though. I didn't sit there and read every single comment because who has time like that? I don't have time like that. But most of them were just like, yay, great, I can support Dashing Diva again, I will stay a customer again, or I will stay a customer, I will not boycott Dashing Diva. Let that be a cautionary tale to anybody who is in MLM or considers joining an MLM. A lot of the time, the MLM opportunity, no matter what company it's with, and if you really want to see some unhinged MLM comments, go to my Atomy video. The reps are very passionate, let's just say, okay? And make some very interesting, although wrong, logically and so forth, arguments. But anyway, a lot of MLMs will position their opportunity as a business opportunity to be a business owner. They will go and promote themselves as a small business, like during Small Business Saturday, which is after Black Friday in the United States. And yet, if you are a small business owner, if you are truly a small business owner, somebody else above you cannot just say, oh, hey, we're dissolving your business today. I'm a small business owner. My blog is a business. I do file a business tax return on it. And nobody except for me can tell me, hey, your blog is no longer a thing. We decided that we are just not going to have your blog anymore. No, because I'm a business owner. It is mine. Only I can decide that. When you are a 1099 MLM rep, you are an independent sales agent for somebody else's business. And by the way, that somebody else's business is usually not a small business. If you look at the sales data for the larger MLMs like Mary Kay or Rodan and Fields or Atomy even, they're not small businesses. They bring in quite a bit of profit for themselves. So, and they also have CEOs. So all of these pitches of be your own CEO. Like, no, you're not your own CEO joining Atomy. Atomy has a CEO. Rodan and Fields has a CEO. Mary Kay has a CEO, and it's not you. I don't wish anything bad on people who are in MLMs. I wish them all the best. It's just really important to know that you're not a business owner. So what happened to Scott? A lot of people, rightfully so, said that, hey, we still will not support Dashing Diva as long as Scott is associated with it. So I reached out to Dashing Diva, so did a lot of people. I see I made a typo here. Sorry, should have proofread it. It said, thank you so much for not becoming an MLM. Is Scott Halversen also gone? His email to the Divas talking about your current customers was not nice. And Dashing Diva said, please be assured that Scott Halversen is no longer with Dashing Diva. His statements are not a reflection of our brand or its ethos, and we apologize for any hard feelings his words may have caused. Our customers are our first priority, and we will continue to build Dashing Diva with you and for you. We hope that you will continue the journey with us and encourage you to always share feedback. There you have it. It's all done. They're extra shiny now. And I think this set I had here, it's just not as shiny as some of the other sets I've had from the Diva gloss. Usually the difference between, just the difference in shine between no top coat and top coat is not this apparent. I really love these. These are my favorite strips. I love that they don't require a light because it cuts down on the application time for me. I don't have to cure the strips and then also cure the top coat. These last superbly well, typically. There was a little hiccup that Dashing Diva had a couple of years ago where they changed the formula but didn't tell people, and then suddenly people started to complain about the adhesive not lasting very well. I wasn't sure what was going on, so I reached out to Dashing Diva asking them if they changed the formula, and they said they had, but then received basically negative feedback and changed it back. So then I said, well, is everything on the site right now the new formula then? And they said, no, we are kind of like slowly, we're converting it to the new formula, but you might still get some old formula. So I don't know. By now everything should be the new formula, but this specific set that I have here, I've had this for a little while. It's not expired, but I've had it for a bit. So I don't know if that was the new or the old, the good or the bad formula. We'll see how these wear. Typically though, 2 weeks, no problem. And once they are grown out, I just take them off. I do have removal videos in my nails playlist. You can check those out. These are super easy to remove. You don't have to soak anything in anything. There's no acetone involved if you don't want it to be. So let me know what you think about this whole MLM fiasco. I consider it a big win. I don't know that I was going to just totally boycott Dashing Diva if they hadn't changed from the MLM. If they became just MLM, I definitely would not be buying them. But because they were going to still keep their retail site and the MLM thing, I was going to probably still buy things from the retail site just because I like these so much. But I'm really glad now that I don't have to make that decision. And I'm also glad that we as a community of consumers and people can stand up to a brand and basically influence what they do. So I'm really, really glad that people got heard and that Dashing Diva decided against this MLM thing. But thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Check out my other nail videos and find me on Instagram at kbeautyhobbit. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.